This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, October the 10th, is a star defenseman. He's 48 years old today. He was actually picked second in the 1993 NHL draft, playing for Hartford, St. Louis, Edmonton, Anaheim, and Philadelphia. He made the Stanley Cup Finals with Edmonton, Anaheim, and Philly, only getting one cup in 2007. He did win the MVP award in 2000, becoming the first defenseman since Bobby Orr in 1932 to do so. Pronger won a pair of gold medals in the Olympics 2002 and 2010. Unfortunately, his playing career would end due to post-concussion syndrome. His number 44 was just retired this year, 2022. His name is Chris Pronger. Pronger was born in Dryden, Ontario. He signed with Stratford in the OHA and did pretty well. He actually wanted to play at Bowling Green University for U.S. college hockey in lieu of the OHL, but he actually went to Peterborough. He did quite well and was picked second in the 1993 NHL draft. The 93 NHL draft was famous for Ottawa saying they may have tanked to try to get the number one pick because, lowest points. Ottawa got the number one pick and took Daigle, this can't-miss prospect. And Ottawa thought they were making the right move. However, Hartford, who had the second pick because Daigle traded their pick to Hartford for, I think, Hartford's first-round pick, took Chris Pronger. So Hartford ended up taking one of the best number 2 overall ranked players in the world. So, of course, Daigle really messed up. Pronger would make his way through. He played the entire 94 season and made on the NHL rookie team. Unfortunately, he would have a lot of problems. He was arrested for a barroom brawl in Buffalo and been arrested for drug driving in Ohio, leaving some to consider Pronger impatient and immature. But anyway, he played for Hartford in the short 95 season, and then after that, the Oilers decided to trade him to St. Louis for Brendan Shanahan. So Pronger was told to improve his conditioning and reduce his mistakes. And Pronger knew he could improve his defensive play. In his third season with St. Louis, he was named team captain and got to the All-Star team. Unfortunately, he actually suffered a cardiac arrest during the 98 Stanley Cup playoffs against the Red Wings when a puck hit him in the chest. It didn't look good, but thanks to emergency services, he didn't have any issues whatsoever. He came back in 2000 to have a plus 52 plus-minus rating. In hockey, if you're on the ice when your team scores a goal, you get a plus. If you're on the ice when your team gives up a goal, that's a minus. You won't have the best. But anyway, Pronger had 62 points, winning the Norris Trophy for best defenseman, but shockingly won the Hart Trophy by 1 voting point over Jaromir Jagr, which was the smallest margin of victory in the history of the award. That actually was true for 2 years until Jerome McGinley and Jose Theodore tied in voting for the 2002 Hart Trophy. But because Theodore had more first-place votes, he got the nod. Pronger, unfortunately, would have injury problems, but it didn't prevent him from playing in the 2002 Olympics, helping Team Canada win the gold medal for the first time in 50 years. Excuse me. Anyway, injuries were a problem, and he lost his captaincy to Al McGuinness. Pronger would bounce back in the 2004 season and do well. But after the 2005 season was canceled and the impending salary cap, the Blues needed to waste money. Couldn't waste money. So they traded him to Edmonton for Eric Brewer, Jeff Wojcicka, and Doug Lynch. So Brewer did okay for St. Louis. He was a decent defenseman. But Pronger was hoping to have a good time with Edmonton. The Oilers managed to sign him to a 5-year, $31 million contract, even though the Blues couldn't afford him. So, anyway. Pronger played for Canada at the 2006 Winter Olympics. Unfortunately, he and Team Canada didn't have a good tournament. But Edmonton, on the other hand, did. Edmonton was the 8th seed and shockingly jumped all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. They took care of Detroit, San Jose, and Anaheim on their way to the final against Carolina. In Game 1, Chris Pronger was allowed to take a penalty shot. And for the first time in Stanley Cup Finals history, there was a penalty shot goal. Every other time a penalty shot was made in the finals, it was saved. Pronger did well. He scored 21 points in 24 playoff games in that 2006 Cup drive. Unfortunately for Edmonton, they faltered, losing Game 7 to Carolina, despite the fact they did push it to a Game 7. Pronger, surprisingly, a week and a half later, decided to be traded from Edmonton. It's like, why? Kevin Lowe, the GM, said that it was due to personal reasons. And a lot of people figured that it was Pronger's wife who didn't want to be in Edmonton, so she forced him to make the trade. He was a public enemy number 1 in Edmonton. But they did find a trading partner July 3rd, trading him to Anaheim for Joffrey Lupul, Larso Smeed, and the first-round pick in the 2007 draft, which was later traded to Phoenix. And a conditional first-round pick contingent on the Ducks reaching the Stanley Cup Finals within the next 3 seasons, which they did. So that meant Edmonton got a first-round pick and took Jordan Eberle. Not a bad move. And the 2008 second-round pick by the Ducks, but was traded to the Islanders. Pronger played an important role for the Ducks when they won the Stanley Cup. He was given a 1-game suspension for a check on Detroit's Thomas Holmstrom in the conference finals. And would criticize the Canadian media's coverage of the incident. Unfortunately for Pronger, he got suspended for Game 4 of the finals after his elbow to Dean McHamon's head in Game 3. But Pronger helped his team win the Stanley Cup, him and Scott Niedermayer, as the Ducks did it, and Edmonton must have been fuming. Pronger was then named team captain at the end of the 2007 season after Scott Niedermayer was hurt. Pronger became team captain for a couple of years, and then Scott Niedermayer got his captaincy back. Pronger was in trouble in 2008 after stomping on Ryan Kessler's leg and getting an 8-game suspension. Pronger then got his 1,000th career game in 2009, helping the Ducks get to the playoffs. And then Anaheim surprisingly traded him to Philadelphia for Joffrey Lupul, which was funny because Lupul was traded from Anaheim to Edmonton to get Pronger, and then Lupul was traded from Edmonton to Philly, and then Philly traded Lupul back to Anaheim. Also, Lucas Sabisa, 2 first-round picks were there. Pronger signed a 7-year deal. Unfortunately, the NHL would announce they launched an investigation on Pronger's contract, whether it circumvented the CBA salary cap. Because the contract was front-loaded, it was fine and all that. Pronger then was announced as a player for the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, and he got another gold medal. In fact, he became Canada's all-time leader in Olympic Games played. All that. Cool. Anyway, the Flyers would reach the 2010 playoffs on the final day against the Rangers. They took care of New Jersey. They were down 3-0 to Boston before coming back to win Game 7 and took out Montreal for them to make the Stanley Cup Finals game against the Chicago Blackhawks. The Flyers were looking for their first cup since 1975, and they didn't get it. The Flyers did push the Blackhawks to Game 6, but lost it. So he did his job. He led the team in points. Unfortunately, he would go through arthroscopic knee surgery, but he only missed 2 games because of that. But injuries would significantly rob him. Pronger was given the captaincy of the Flyers September 2011. Unfortunately, in October, Mikhail Grabovski of the Leafs caught Pronger's right eye with a stick, falling through on a shot. He would have a 6-game injury thing. Unfortunately, he ended up getting post-concussion syndrome because of multiple hits. Pronger stepped down as team captain in 2013. Strangely enough, even though Pronger wasn't playing, he did not officially retire because his contract ran through to the 2017 season. Because under the terms of the CBA, because he was 35 years old before the contract began, the Flyers were on the hook for the cost against the salary cap each season. Although they could have received relief by pricing Pronger on long-term injury reserve. Philadelphia would technically trade Chris Pronger's playing rights to Arizona in exchange for Sam Gagner. It was the benefit of salary cap implications. Strange enough, 3 days later, he was named to the Hockey Hall of Fame, despite the fact he was kind of an active player. But the Hall only counts games played as its criteria for the minimum winning period. Pronger was still an active player, but he didn't play for many years, so he was allowed to have a chance. And he did. He officially retired in 2017. So Pronger and his wife have 3 children, living in Irvine, now in Chesterfield, Missouri. He runs a travel agency. Pronger was on the cover of NHL 2000, which was the first PlayStation hockey game I bought, and it was amazing. He was also the main athlete for NHL Hits 2003, which is a pretty cool game and all that. You know, NHL Hits, you can customize your guys, put your friends on your team, and go to different places and be jerks, if you will. Anyway, in the regular season, 1,167 games, 157 goals, 698 points. In the playoffs, he played 173 games, 121 points in those things, winning only 1 Stanley Cup. He was in 3 finals, but he only won the Cup in 07. He was in the finals in 06 and 10 and didn't do it. Anyway, yeah. 2007 Stanley Cup champion, 2000 Norris Trophy for Best Defenseman, 2000 Hart Trophy for MVP. All-Star Game 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2004, and 2008. All-Rookie Team 94, Hockey Hall of Fame since 2015. He did his job. So, yeah. He had his fun and all that. He was a good defenseman, so he was good. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.